So we'll start that now. And so, the history of Britannia. A world once full of war and demons that raged on for thousands of years. 50 years had passed since the Holy War of Olden. Humanity had succeeded in pushing back the demon forces and killing many fleeing beasts that fled to the land. Sadly, many gods that tried to aid humanity in the defeat of the demons fell in battle. Monsters that remain are not much of a challenge to control, and many live in the wildlands and the outskirts. Since then, the kingdom of Lyonesse has trained gifted members of society to master their field of specialties in segregated schools. The first being Drayden, the school of dark magics and research of the underworld, usually schooling warlocks and sorcerers, but others are amongst their mix. Then you have Zulhal, a school of discipline, body and religion. Clerics and monks, and even rogues, seem to train here. Of course, you have Galmix, the school of battle, weaponry and protection. The likes of fighters and barbarians, paladins alike, train relentlessly here. The Maid's Heath, the school of nature, survival and magic. Rangers, druids, wizards also sparse this training school of grounds. Plexus Cruz, school of crafts. Humanity and tinkerers. This is for bards and artificers. These schools have a hub across Britannia. Each raise and train and prepare the future protectors of the world against the prophecy of another holy war, one like no other. Each grants access to the best teachers that Britannia has to offer. Once pupils reach enough potential, they are assigned a location to guard from any threat that may arise. Some selected few have been assigned to the king himself, although it has been many years since this has been the case. The land has many kingdoms, towns and villages that now coincide with each other in peace. Each have their own contribution to Britannia. Costs of production can be dictated and dependent on what's being traded where. It is also good to know that there is many trade routes, including seaports and transport trades around Britannia. Many forts close by village towns and kingdoms. Many humanoids commingle, however, there are beastly and hellish looking folk that may offer to be considered suspicious and usually are untrusted by locals. Few live in wooded areas and other mountainous regions, but most do live alongside one another. The kingdoms that currently exist in Britannia: the kingdom of Lyonesse, the strongest; the kingdom of Edinburgh, the quietest. The kingdom of Camelot, the furthest away but the most diplomatic. There were more kingdoms that fell the order of the king by order of the King Lioness, as they possessed the biggest threats and were said to aid the demon race in their rise. The religion, currently, due to the many gods falling in the Great Holy War of Alderaan, this meant that most lost their faith, or looked for faith elsewhere, but few carried on, in hope that one day their gods would rise again. Yourselves, the Aftermath, you each belong to a school where you once were assigned to King Bartra Leones, personal guard in Leones. Days before his death, rumors spread quickly that your team, you, were the hand in his death, and that you betrayed the kingdom. Being the best of your skill, and overhearing the relentless news, you each split and fled for your lives. You each found horses to escape, and as you flee the gates in the darkness, you reach not but 200 foot from the kingdom walls before feeling a magnificent force from behind you. After being attacked by Grandmaster Dreyfus, as you were hit by a powerful magical force, you each find yourself separated, lost on horseback after being carried for what feels like a few days. The attack left you dehydrated and lost. You make life on the run, never knowing the faces of the rest of your team, only knowing each other by a code name, and not meeting one another in person. Other than a muffled voice under an armored mask or veil, of course. A decade passed since that day. The kingdom is now run by 5 Grandmasters, and a rumor of new breed of Holy Knight has now fought and fights for the kingdom, but it seems that they spread more fear into the common folk than to help protect them. The power seems to have left you permanently affected after the blast of Grandmaster Dreyfus's hit. You hide and hope that they will return, but at this time you are no match to take on whoever may have framed you. To this day you currently find yourself in a tavern that stands alone in the hills far from home. The sign of the tavern names it as the Whole Hog. You hear stories of coin given for help to aid locals, which led you to the Whole Hog. Inside the Whole Hog tavern stands a circular room, high beams, wooden floor, violet painted walls, and a small wooden door for an entrance. There are 4 tables in the middle, Tables are made of crates and the stools of barrels. There are two booths either side of the bar, and a log burner near a window. The bar stretches along the back of the tavern, and a small landlord stands at the bar. The smell of cooked meat fills the air. Within the bar, there are two human farmers, who seem to be arguing about something between themselves. Another wears extravagant clothing and sits near one of the booths, staring deeply within his goblet. The young bartender cleaning out the glass, while a small pig sniffs the floor, cleaning any scraps. You have this time to describe yourselves to one another.
You don't want to start, Callum?
Oh no, I plan
Because I figured you would be first since you're all black.
No. Don't you know the black man's always the least important?
He's
It's
always
why you diverse in horror.
Well, my guy's pretty hard to miss. He's over 6 foot, wide, broad shoulders, heavily armored to obscure the details, and has a fairly large hilt sticking up over one shoulder. His outer cloak is mostly, and armor is mostly green with black accents, and yeah, overall pretty big guy, heavily armed and armed.
My lovely little chap stands about 7 foot and 7.5 foot tall, depending on horn height. Um, Most of the time, he'll have his whole body covered with a cloak, really keeping his face a bit tucked away after how he's been treated in the past. But for the most part, you'll just occasionally see a bit of brown fuzzy fur coming out. But while he tries to look discreet, he's not exactly smart enough to be discreet. Um, so as he's walking occasionally, you just see a little glimpse of a hoof underneath his robe, as he doesn't realise that people can see his feet.
Yeah. My character has chainmail under and like a tunic over the chainmail, so it's a orange tunic that seems like it's been not. It's been in some rough shape. And it's not been washed very well. It's washed out. It's all of the heraldic symbols are just like a blotchy mess because it's old, and he's got a blue uh, colors as well to accent the orange, and uh, grayish pale hair. And he's also tall with a shield and lance stuck next to a backpack on one side, probably nursing a beer.
Okay.
All right. My guy is rather tall, about over 6 foot. Wearing very free flowing cloth, which doesn't seem to be great quality, but also appears to be very comfortable. You can see instead of hands, he's got claws, which with the sorry, he's got claws, and he's got a orange porcelain mask which has absolutely no expression shown on it, but hidden behind that and a hood, you can see the amazing mane. Oh yeah, the cloth is orange and
In a dark, desolate corner, you see a black clothed individual with a black hood, with a black veil over his mouth and up to his nose, with a short bow on his back. You see a Pterodyne Ranger. I had to do that reference, I'm sorry. You also see a rapier on his side, and in his two dark black boots, you see two daggers. And he has no drink or food in front of him. He's just eyeing you all up.
What's everyone's code names we know each other by?
Oh, you won't know each other at this stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the idea is that there will be a moment. You guys are not familiar with each other in terms of how you appear now, and being on the run, you know that your identity must remain a secret, as you are all wanted. You may find some familiarities with how people present themselves to people of your past, but at this stage you wouldn't necessarily connect those dots.
Oh god, I've just realised how easy it is for my character to reveal himself completely by accident.
Well, the small, young-looking landlord pipes up his head, puts down the glass. You see the bartender. Looks like the appearance of a young boy, blonde hair, big grin. And who's this guy?
Hello, Mary.
And he says, "What can I do for you?"
What's the house special?
We have all sorts of ales, and we've just whipped up a nice meat pie.
No. Do you have any veggie?
And no vegetables.
No. Can I get some water?
Why, sure you can. And he just kind of
Thank you.
You see like a wash basin at the rear of the bar, and he kind of just dips the goblet in, and like go. You kind of see like the subtle like shrug of shoulders, like, that's good enough. And he places it on the bar and says, "No charge."
Thank you. I'm literally just gonna
I'll
take
take
it, chug it.
I'll take an order of that meat pie and one of your.
Right you are. Would you like to sit at a table? I can bring it over.
Sure.
And he kind of goes to like a side, like around the side a little bit, and he does some preparations.
Do you have any chicken?
Well, it says meat, but I couldn't really say what meat it was.
Fine. I shouldn't have expected more. One of your meat pies and the house ale.
I walk up and say, I'll take a drink of surprise me.
Okay.
I just kind of grin, looking at this person wearing black, and say, I like surprises. I would like to be surprised too, please.
Right you are. Take a seat. I'll bring it over. And let me move you to the setup.
Ooh.
And I think I need sec. Okay. Grab your tokens. Move them into there for you.
Wow.
That's a lot. Thought it would be.
Well, you did make a lion person. I'm sure this is fine.
I
You mean
don't know how.
exactly?
Don't know how to
There's
restart.
two of me.
Nick is adding our figures.
All right. I'll just delete mine.
Yeah.
So when we sit down at the table, I just look at everyone and say, so what brings everyone to town? Quite obviously, making fun of our situation.
I'm searching for something personally. I don't suppose any of you have heard any rumors about pieces of a broken blade made from a strange material?
No.
No.
Not to my knowledge, no.
And my character just kind of like nods his head slightly at that, as if it's not an unexpected answer.
Not long after, you see the young boy. He comes back to your table and he places the meat pies onto the tables. He kind of looks you all over and says, I've got a good feeling about you.
What? You take us for some starting adventuring troop? Want to kill some rats in your basement or something, Sonny?
I don't have a basement, and myself, I don't need any recruits, but there are jobs that I know of if you are looking for work.
As he's saying that, my character goes ahead and just digs into the meat pie.
Okay.
I just had a surprise me drink. I don't know what it is.
Hold on one moment.
I look at the pie and I look up at the kid and I say, you wouldn't be related to some guy named Cut My Throat Dibbler, would you?
Nope, Meliodas is the name.
Hello, Meliodas.
Well, hope you enjoy the pie. And
I
he
just
kind of...
drank my mystery
I
drink.
start digging into it as well.
Okay, give me a sec to find my sheet on the pie.
What surprise alcohol did they bring?
It's also a mystery meat pie.
Yeah. I mean, the meat. The ale that you're drinking. It's a relatively mediocre. It's not quite strong. It almost tastes like it is watered down a little bit. But it does the job. it's not horrible, but it's got that bitter sort of ale taste to it, but it tastes a bit weak.
And my mystery drink.
Your mystery drink is the same.
Damn it!
Those of you that are eating the pie, could I have Constitution saving throws from you, please?
I knew this was coming.
Oh god.
Oh, I don't know why it went to GM,
Okay.
but it was a
I've seen this anime.
I love this anime.
So,
Have you seen the latest season?
I've seen The Prisoner of the Sky. Okay, so Sakavel, you start to chew it, and like there are these flavors in there that don't taste like vegetable, and they don't taste like meat, and it's kind of like it's hard to describe. It's almost like socks that have been worn for like an entire year.
Congratulations.
And
Running
you kind of just lean over your plate and like you kind of spit or like just let the food kind of fall back onto the plate.
If I wanted chewing leather.
Is it nice?
Mm.
Are you alright there?
No.
The others you manage to eat and swallow. It's awful. It's the worst thing that you've eaten in quite a long time. But
It's even worse than
it's
the
consumable
Dragon
at this stage in your travel. You've not eaten for a little while, and you're just like, I don't care what it tastes like. I'm still eating it.
The food of this place never ceases to surprise me.
Oh, by the way, when I'm eating, I pull my hood over a lot more and lift my mask up a little bit so I can actually eat.
Okay.
But I'm quite obviously trying to cover my appearance.
Sure thing.
I don't even understand why we're paying for this.
I just look like a human that's slightly annoyed about the sale.
Meliodas comes back over, and this time he kind of has like this like coin purse around his like waist, and he says, "Okay, so for the meat pies, that's a silver apiece, and the ale is 5 copper pieces for the ale."
Do you mean this water?
My character's just gonna slap down a gold piece and say, I'll cover the others.
He kind of, at the remark, he kind of breathes in a bit and has his like hands either side of his hips, and is just like, and kind of disregards the remark made.
After hearing this,
Send my compliments to the chef.
Why, thanks. It's my own recipe.
He really pulled out the boots for this one. I can't imagine that there was any meat at all in this pie.
I may have to see about acquiring this recipe if I ever head back home.
You're too kind.
I'm looking at the person who just offered to, or who just paid for my meal and drink, and I put my hand out saying, what's your name? And thank you for paying for this very good food.
I say the ale might need a bit more honey.
My name is Zatlem.
Can I proceed?
so I understand my name may be difficult on your tongue.
Yes. I'm Orion.
I'm Farthus.
Farthus. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Roll.
Roland or Roland?
Rolling.
Oh,
You know, rolling.
I like rolling.
At the moment, you're all just mammals to me. If you make it past 2 weeks, maybe I'll remember.
So, what brings you to this part of the country? Meliodas kind of pumps out his chest and is like looking at you all smiley.
I'm like,
wow.
the sights.
Yes, the sights. Tourism is really big in these parts. There's lots to see.
I am searching for something.
My friend told me to come, so I came.
I'm also searching for something.
Oh,
Don't suppose you've heard any rumors about pieces of a broken blade made of a strange material?
huh. Well, can't say I have.
Hmm.
Well, you say you're all searching for something. That doesn't seem like a traveler's thing to me.
I'm just your average sightseer.
You're certainly dressed like it.
I'm just
Yeah.
looking for something to do.
Well, a lot of people come here asking if there's any jobs to do, but honestly, I've only been told of one issue nearby, and if you are travelers, I'm sure you're not really interested, but just in case you are, rumor has it there are some bandits nearby stopping the trades of the local villages. I'm sure they really appreciate some help, but I'm sure you're just passing through.
I can help. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, I can help. I guess.
I don't like bad people.
Well, they've been blocking the roads by a nearby village, and in fairness, there's not much coin in it, but the reward is small. But perhaps the village people will take kindly to acts of heroism.
A rabid dog may just be a dog, but it still needs to be put down.
I go,
I like dogs.
money isn't of great importance. I'd rather get food and drink as repay. Yeah. That will last me long.
Yes, I'm sure he would rather get paid with your food than money.
No. I said I'd rather take food and drink from the villagers.
Well, I'm sure there can be arrangements made if you make good on on the deal.
Money's easy to
Okay.
come by. Food and drinks slightly.
It kind of like unfold out of his pocket like a folded bit of paper. It seems to be quiet monkey. Seems to be a requisition form of from a local village. It gives you details that there is a blockade as such of high bandits on the high road, about a 10-hour track from this tavern, and the road leads from Keynes to Bernia. The bandits themselves call themselves the Frisky Fingers. Their numbers are unknown.
At least they're not the sticky bandits.
They're unknown in numbers, but they're responsible for stopping shipments from the to and from the villages between each other, and they hang out by the road, by the Keynes Road near the woods.
I look at the group. I go, well, I'm good with the bow. I don't know about you guys.
I am
Monkey.
I prefer a more personal touch.
I won't lie, I didn't really hear what you said because of the little one.
Sorry.
Oh, I said I'm good with the bow.
Oh,
I prefer a more personal touch.
I'm me. Python says I'm good, but I'm me.
It looks like you're more of an up close personal type.
No.
I like to stay back and use magic.
I like magic. Magic's fun.
Are you a magic person?
A little bit.
Nice.
I look at
I
the
look
guy
for.
and how about
It's
you,
just
I say?
it's just me and what are you again? You're tall. Close and personal. Zartan. Oh, that name.
I know a bit of magic, but I prefer to deal with my blade. It's not like I have anything to fear from the nipping of hounds.
Good. Then the two of us will hold the bandits off, and the rest can pick them up from afar. It'll be easy. Get me a
Give
horse.
me
I can take
give
care
me a
of
quick
them.
minute.
So Meliodas kind of what are you doing? Will again pump his chest and smile at you all and go, "So you're gonna do the job?
Yeah, sounds easy enough.
Oh,
If there are
that's
bandits
Consider-
great.
flagging the King's Road, yeah.
Well, you're welcome back here once the job is done. I'm not going anywhere."
You might want to add a bit of honey to your.
And kind of go, honey,
The ju-
right? Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. I cannot eat more of this pie. I should just give it back to you, son. Why don't you have the rest?
If you don't want it, I'll take it for the road.
Fine. You paid for it.
So you gather your traveling gear and your belongings.
My
And
backpack.
you make your way on foot to the suggested location of the bandits.
Indeed.
Pretty
So,
much.
just to give you an idea of where that is, I'll quickly move you to a map page to show you.
The village capital of the dead.
So, you are currently situated where the big black arrow is, right here.
And we want to go to, like, Cyan's village.
And yeah, the idea is that the road between Bernia and Cayans, which is about here, the road links from here, and it goes from Bernia. Oh, sorry, hold on. Why does that do that there?
It's because you probably have it set to snap to the hexes.
Probably, yeah. There we go. So it should. The road pretty much goes from there to there, and the road from where you currently are, there's a road that goes through a small part of wide open forest. So the trees are quite spread apart in this particular part. and then the road follows the guideline of the outline of Kane's village. So you don't actually have to enter Kane's village or the location surroundings of Kane's village to get there.
Isn't Kane's village the people that want to get the job done?
It is Kane's and Bernier. They're both responsible for this requisition.
Good force march never hurt anyone.
Well, if we go to Kane's village and find out more information, maybe they know the way.
You don't need to get special information to put down a mangy.
No, but it doesn't hurt knowing the name. Alright, Ruffin.
I'm going to agree. I think it's best if we get extra information.
Plus, we can get extra supplies in this.
Supplies?
I'm good with supplies, but you know, if there's something about these people that the contract doesn't know, but a victim does, it is best we hear about it.
I'm sure
Suppose-
you'll find out everything.
I suppose it's on the way, but if you cowards take too long, I'll go ahead by myself.
I'm not a coward.
Sometimes it is wise to stay behind and seek extra information. But be careful it does not turn into a craven, cowardly thought to stay behind just to get the extra information.
Well,
Instead
I
of
plan
bravely
on getting
seeking out the
info and
dangers that beset
buying
us
a
in.
few extra arrows.
While this is going on, you still have the guy is still staring into the same goblet. He doesn't have he hasn't seemed to make any effort of drinking it, and out of nowhere, one of the farmers at the other table stands up and is like, "No, something has to be done." And the other says, "What do you expect we to do? We're just but farmers."
I approach this person and ask him what's the problem.
I'm gonna flank your wings.
Zartan is going to be impatiently waiting by the door to the tavern.
I'm just going to walk outside. I'm not bright. I've just assumed everyone getting up means we're going.
I'll wave apologetically at Sarflam and just walk towards the rogue in the situation. I'm sorry for my companion's sake. Please, pray tell, what plagues you, peasant?
One of them just kind of looks at you as like, "Don't call us peasants. Who are you?"
Just said you were but farmers. Are you ashamed of your profession?
"Farming. We don't live in a gutter."
Of course not. Do not take this as an insult. I merely address you by the manner by which you yourself have proclaimed yourself to be.
You don't look like you're able to help us with what we need. We need
No,
true people, capable people.
pardon me, good sir. When you say capable, do you mean a capable sword arm?
You really think you can handle a matter that we require?
What is said manner?
I cannot, unless you tell me what it is, boy.
Well, I'm James, and this is Frank, and we own 2 farms. Well, I own one, and Frank owns the other, but as of late, out of nowhere, the river that flows through both our farms has dried out. And it seems that we have now been plagued by an attack of wolves that crosses into both of our farms. They attack our livestock and our workers.
A plague of wolves and a drying river.
Sounds like someone built a dam.
And you two intended to round up a posse and check out where the river flows. Or not flowed, right?
Well, myself think that with enough people, we could try and take on these wolves with what we have. And Frank thinks that it's possible we could only get injured or harmed ourselves. But they've attacked 3 of our workers already and killed much of our livestock, our chickens and our sheep mainly. But these wolves, they are brazen, unafraid of humans like most wolf. They seem to hunt.
Fire?
They don't seem bothered by what we place. We've tried all sorts of deterrents, but they hunt during the day and during the night, and I've never witnessed a wolf hunt in the day. It's most strange.
Maybe the wolves aren't actually wolves, but are shifters or spawn.
Or maybe there's wolves that are starving and don't want to wait till night.
Well, they usually hunt much further afield from our farms. We've seen them on travels, but miles away from where we farm. It's like something's led them here. I know the river between our fields has kept them at bay, but it's only dried up a few days. It's never happened before.
Pray tell, where are your farms and this river that has dried up?
Well, our farms are just outside the Cayenne's village, the borders of Cayenne.
Oh, we're heading in that direction as is.
And you think that 2 of you are capable of taking these wolves down?
There's 5 of us.
And one of them kind of looks over his shoulder and is like, if you say so.
There's a couple waiting outside.
Yes, impatient people who don't pick up side quests. But we shall probably endeavor to clear out this menace and see where this dried river leads.
Yeah, we can take out these wolves on the way to take out the bandits.
Well,
Sounds good.
we have small coin to be paid for your efforts, and of course we can most certainly tell the rest of our village people that of the heroes of. Sorry, we didn't catch your name.
Well, we're not heroes yet.
But we plan on taking out the bandits plaguing you guys too.
Yes, another issue that hasn't affected our farming, but maneuvering and transporting our produce has become a bit of a pain. Well,
And since your farms are on the way, we can take the problem. I'm assuming someone built a dam to stop the flow of the river.
we know nothing of a dam.
Damn.
Can I make out this conversation from where I'm waiting by the door, or do I have to wait until they come over and let me know?
Oh, Frank is quite loud spoken, so I would imagine you at least.
In that case, from where he's standing by the door, Zartlam is just going to declare loud enough for the whole tavern to hear. Whether it walks on 2 legs or 4, a mongrel is a mongrel, and the sooner we head out, the sooner they can be put to the.
That's a bit forward, but
Yes.
yes.
Are you guys heading back to your farms now?
No, we plan to just eat some pie and drink our sorrows away. Returning home at this stage to our wives would most certainly result in a scolding.
I whisper. I wouldn't recommend the pie.
Kind of looks at you in like odd.
Yes. Let's go, thy maiden, the nurse of the pure and the high affliction, the stay of the oppressed, the redresser
Yeah.
of grievances.
You should show us the way to your farm so we can get there. your wives find out you found people to take care of the wolf problem, they won't scold you, will they?
Well, if you're going from here to Cairns anyway, you'll see the first two farms segregated, one to the left and one to the right. That is our farms.
So are we dealing with the wolves and then looking for these
Yes.
bandits?
Yes,
Yeah.
that seems like the appropriate
Because
response.
the wolves are on the way.
I could pose as a farmer if need be, if we're just going to wait, or are
No,
we going to
we'll
head
we'll
up
follow
the...
the river. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought would happen.
Try and figure out what's blocking the river, and then fix the river problem, and we fix the wolf problem somewhat in the same way.
Well, we'll see what happens when we get there, won't we?
Yep.
Come then, let us go.
So
think-
as you leave and the tavern door shuts behind you, you hear a God, what is in this pie? And it kind of dissipates, and you can hear like the mumbling of Meliodas kind of trying to calm the situation down as you leave and progress up the road.
Was it one of the two farmers that said that?
Yep.
I warned them.
So, I need to do that again.
Zartlan will take that as the reminder to finish off the other pie that he brought.
Off the sleigh wolves we go.
If I wanted to eat my boots, I would eat them.
Are you tired?
Why would you want to eat your boots?
Little nap.
He's saying the pie tasted like his boots.
Give me a sec, guys.
Ah! That's what it is.
Like,
Ah.
outside, you see father's literally picking up handfuls of grass and shoveling them towards his face. As he begins to munch on the grass he's picked up.
Ah, you're picking up the trail already, I see.
This turn, you can see like grass, like a typical cow chewing. When you see like bits of grass just something outside of the mouth. Trail? What trail?
He's being a cow apparently.
Little nap.
Well, we can't all be human.
Would you like your pillow?
God forbid.
Are any of us... Wait, we all have our masks on, right?
Yeah.
No.
I got a hood
No,
on
no.
and a veil up.
The masks were for the protection of the king and protection of our identities. They are not for wearing now that we're run away.
Okay.
I've still got a face covering and a hood up.
My guy's got a hood as part of his chainmail, as well as from his traveling cloak that's obscuring most of his face. He hasn't bothered to take that off yet.
So what the case is two of us have our mask on, two of us don't. Or two of you guys. Alright, Oriion's just gonna look at half the group and then the other half and then flip a coin. And then take his mask off.
Sorry about that. Okay, so where are you guys heading first?
I think the wolves were closer.
Sure. So it takes you a few hours travel, on foot, most certainly. As you walk through the wooded area, there are a lot of tall green conifers kind of swaying the light breeze. This whole sort of landscape is very green and like luscious in life. And other than your travel here, it's been a few years since you've seen and witnessed a nice sort of countryside shine. As you kind of come outside the back end of the woodland area, you follow a pathway that's you can see golden crops kind of swaying, and you can see miles of countryside and farmland that kind of inhabits the area of the Cairns village. And let me move you to that map.
As we're walking along the trail, I pull out my sickle and my wand in the other hand.
I'm just walking with a rather knotted piece of wood in hand, almost like Gandalf with a walking stick. As I hunch over a bit.
I just got a bow with an arrow on it.
Zartlam draws the great sword off of his back once we start to get close, revealing that there's actually 2 swords on his back, as there's still a hilt back.
One for monsters and one's for men.
One's a piece of junk to make do till the other gets repaired.
That's one way to do it.
I'm assuming that other one's part of a broken sword that he's looking for the pieces.
Look at this, we've got a detective with us.
Well, you need that if you're going to find things.
Who's a detective?
It's called common sense.
Oh.
I'm just going to while we're talking, cast Mage Armor.
Okay.
Just keep a lookout on the woods, like in the tree areas.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you by this point you're just on like the tree line now, coming into the farm area, and you can see most of what's ahead of you, apart from where the obscurities are of the trees. But you can see like the beginnings of the golden crop, the wheat that's kind of weighing in the wind.
I'm gonna look
And
for tracks.
once we actually reach the farmlands, once there's no more like real travel time left, going to grasp my holy symbol and cast Armor of Agatha as frost rhymes over my armor.
Sure.
I'm whilst walking. Oh, none of you will be able to see who I'm talking to or hear them, but he's just gonna go, Titan, is anyone else here? And need to roll a for perception for Titan. Would Titan see anything in the approximate area?
Not in the proximate area at this stage, but not in terms of wolves at least. But you do see kind of highlights over a particular area, and as you investigate further to where they're pointing out, you notice there is a human kind of slumped, sat against a tree, head down.
I'm gonna trundle on over to them. Probably seems a bit dangerously fast, but I control my speed as I get there. You okay? Hello? Just casually, like, patting them on the side. Hello? You okay?
As you pat him, the body falls limp to the ground, and there is blood everywhere.
Are there any vitals or?
You see, like where the shoulder was on the opposite side, there's like a massive like gash that looks like a beast has torn a chunk into him, and from his ankle on his right foot, his foot is actually missing.
So
While he's investigating that, Zartlam's going to step forward to keep an eye out so that he doesn't get nothing comes at him from behind while he's checking the.
Sure.
And I got a 15 survival with tracks.
I mean, you see a few tracks, but there's a lot of horses and humanoid tracks where obviously this is a area that's constantly being used from being moving crops around and stuff. And you do see hound-like prints at this stage, but they seem a little small to be wolf.
What killed this man?
Quick question, Nick. Are you controlling all of our tokens?
Now you should be able to move them around.
I have no control over my token.
No worries. Let's see if I can resolve that for you. That'd be why.
Thank you.
There you
go. Do you want me to roll to see if I find any vital signs if he's still alive?
You can tell instantly without rolling. This guy is most certainly dead and has been dead for several hours at least.
Has he got any coin on him?
You can most certainly check.
I'm more curious as to what exactly killed him. So,
Beast of burden.
I mean, yes,
yeah.
you can assume that, but normally a guy would just climb the tree, right? So
it's likely he was intending on doing that, but it's hard to see at this stage. Pavash, you do find 5 copper pieces.
Yep.
And you also find a almost like a small porcelain tome. Looks like a veiled female.
But you broke up a bit then. What did you say?
Sorry, you find a small porcelain tome, like a little carved female. Not like prerogative or anything. It just looks like a little woman with like veiling and like a dress. It's very simply made and crafted.
Okay. Just pop it all inside my little holding. He's dead.
Roland, did you find any tracks?
Nothing that
You go and get them quickly.
wolves.
Well, let's keep a move on then.
I found small wild animal tracks, but not wolf tracks.
Interesting.
This is wolf pup tracks.
I'm gonna keep a constant, I'm every 20 seconds, I'm just gonna have a quick look behind me, making sure we're not followed.
Yeah, do a perception check for me, and I'll make sure that lasts until I require it again.
Perception, here we go. Not very well, I might add.
Okay, so go on.
I normally have Titan looking out for me because I'm not very light.
Just for the record, I'm not so much keeping watch as I walk at the front of the group, so much as just trying to present a obvious target aside from the others for anything that tries.
Sure.
Because my perception is terrible.
But mine.
Well, it's a good thing my perception isn't terrible.
I wonder if I should stealth.
You probably could, yeah.
Behind the 7-foot tall.
Nope. I don't see anything.
Yeah, I'll try to stealth.
Come on, Titan. Let's see if you see anything now.
I'm 6'9" and wearing chainmail. I'm not even gonna try to stealth.
That's for Titan perception.
Okay. Titan kind of narrows in and starts looking around, and you see almost like a mess on the floor, and it would take you getting a bit closer to work out what it is. but as you do get closer, you notice that it seems to be like bait. It's definitely man-made. And some of you with this notice that there's another pile of the same material over in the opposite side as well.
People things. There's something here.
Roland, why don't you check it out? Could be dangerous. We don't know what the peasants put up before the wolves came here.
I'm assuming food to bait them.
Well, why don't you approach it and find out?
Isn't that your job as up close personal fighter?
Yes, but I'm not the one who's going to check out the bait, right?
I'm checking out the bait.
Do an
And I got an
investigation for me.
arrow knocked over.
I'm smart.
It's definitely it's a bit smelly, but you can't distinguish what the smell is.
Poking it with the end of my quarterstaff.
Yeah, it kind of squodges a little bit.
Doesn't look like it's very interesting.
I don't like it.
Well, let's go check out the other side.
Realizing that they're no longer, realizing that the rest of the group is no longer going ahead, my character is going to start heading back. Probably a
just
good
wait.
minute after they stopped following.
I wait and let
sure.
everyone pass me.
The material on the opposite side is the same as what was found by Pavas on the other side. Is that an investigation roll to identify what it is, Roland?
Yes.
Yes,
it is.
It is a fish-like material, almost like mussel or clam kind of meat. It stinks. It really smells, and you can already see like there are some like nip marks in the meat that look like sharp teeth have had a little bit of a nibble at. This is not typical of a bait that would be used to try and deter or make animals go elsewhere. And as close proximity as it is to the farm, you'd be concerned to why they would have put it so close.
I'm like, this attracts wolves, not deters them. Get rid of it.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be like a mousetrap? You could poison the thing, and they would just die, right?
With a 22, you can tell it's not poisoned.
It's not poisoned. The point is, it attracts them, and it's too close to the damn point.
Interesting. Well,
I suggest we get rid of them.
What else is? I'm assuming you told us it was a fishy thing.
Yep.
So, must come from the river then. Let's head further in and see what we find. After burying the food, of course.
Away from the hay.
Yes. We could even bury the men. Though, I don't think we have the right.
We can just tell someone.
Yes, there should be a farm nearby.
We could also burn it. The smell would likely attract our quarry anyway.
I suggest we burn it.
It's not a bad idea.
You might want to move that one further away from the hay, though.
We'll find some good spot to burn it then.
Why not
Let's-
in the middle of the road?
Let's find the farm and see if they have a shovel. Which way is the farm?
I mean,
I'm just
you
silently-
looking out, majority of this is farmland. You see, like right on the horizon of the hill, there is a like a storage facility, but it looks like they come here for the day and then they take it back to their home, the main farm. Most of this is farming land rather than like farm housing.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's
That
a
would take-
storage shed over there.
I'm gonna grab a handful of hay and start chewing it.
Could I also have an additional perception check for those that are looking around?
Oakley dokley.
Okay, rolling dice.
I see everything.
With that, I will.
Oh, I actually rolled pretty well.
Show you a little bit more that there is to. Can never get this bloody thing to do it properly. That's it. And you guys, with the above 15 mark, you do see another body in the gaps between the crop centers, completely sliced in half in terms of from the waist. It looks like it's been torn or pulled apart, and it is just a mess on the floor.
I'll start moving towards it, but if somebody else gets there first, I'm not in a hurry.
And you
Where
see
you
at this
going?
stage that there are like different segregations of this, of like the farm grounds. There's like three different like sections that kind of have like a pathway leading to like the end, the opposite side. You see a scarecrow poking out the center of one of the fields.
For those that haven't noticed, my character will point out there's another body here.
Another one? Huh. This seems more like warg behavior than wolves. But that might be my fancy rather than any actual evidence.
Oh no, they're dead too.
Who's keeping watch out?
I am.
I
Go
am
ahead
as
and
well.
roll an additional perception check for me.
Is that both of us?
If you're both keeping an eye out, yeah.
Yep.
Roland, you can hear like a snarling, like a.
I look in that direction and aim my arrow at it.
You see, you don't see a figure of anything, but you do notice the crop in this area kind of swaying aggressively.
I go.
You can attempt an attack, but it would be at disadvantage.
I say there's enemies in the hay. Middle hay area.
There's a lot of hay.
There's a wolf in the middle hay stack.
Oh.
Can I take that warning as a cue to cast a spell?
Yeah, I suppose you can.
I'm going to go ahead and pop a Shield of Faith on myself then.
Okay.
To go with your armor of Agathis.
Oh yeah, Armor of Agathis is not concentration.
So while you point out the haystack and Sir Connell will walk towards it.
Yeah.
I'll be a
Yes.
moment behind him once I cast the spell, but
Certainly.
he will have the lead.
You, as you come round to the opposite side, you see a body on the floor, throat like gashed, and you see it being tugged, but you can't quite make out what's tugging it, and it's kind of like shaking this dead body, and you can see the crop swaying, but it doesn't seem to do anything at this stage. It's just you can still hear like the growling and the pulling of this beast.
Well, he steps up to the body and takes his sword towards where the thing is being dragged and just kind of sticks it in there.
Okay, make an attack at disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, he's on the other side of the field, so I guess I would be entering from the other side after I cast my spell.
Okay. I would class that as difficult terrain if you're entering the crop.
That's why I only put myself at the edge for now.
Yeah, no worries. No, you don't seem to. You poke your blade in, but you don't seem to find any kind of force or like connection. But the growling does stop immediately.
I take that as a cue to shoot an arrow at.
At this stage, I would need you to roll initiative.
Yay! Oh, not bad. Oh, I forgot to select myself.
Curse me in my low dexterity.
I've got 0 dex, it's fine.
Hey man, we both have low dexterity. Low dexterity club.
We're lumbering giants, it's great.
So, Orion.
So I cannot see the creature that we are
You can
attacking.
see the crop moving, but you can't see the creature. But as you witnessed, Sir Cavell dish his blade into the crop, the swaying and the growling immediately stopped.
I'm just going to move a bit closer, and I'm going to hold a spell attack for when I can see a creature.
Sure.
I'm going to hold Sacred Flame.
Okay. So, you hear from like every direction. Well, it's from a direction, but it's hard to distinguish where it's coming from. You hear a and you hear bushes of the tree line like kind of shift and sway a bit, and you would expect something quite large to be coming from that direction, and it's kind of just sort of here. And Roland.
That should be me. I got 17.
You didn't click your token.
No, I did say.
You can click on your spell thing, your thing in the turn order, can't you? Or is that turned off here?
I don't know. Hold on,
I don't think you
Oh,
even.
yeah, you can. You can.
Yeah,
adjust
he
your-
needs the DM to add it to initiative is the thing.
Let me put that back up.
Okay. Oh, right.
Okay. Pavos, then, sorry.
Not very bright. I'm just gonna hold my staff out in front of me, two-handed, and there's gonna be a little glow coming from my forehead, and I'm going to be holding a Sacred Flame cantrip ready for if something appears.
Okay. Good to know. Roland.
I'm just gonna shoot at where Calvus was.
Yeah, it would be a disadvantage.
That's fine.
So as the arrow goes into the crop, you kind of hear it just go, but nothing seems to have reacted from it.
I'm gonna move over here and bonus action hide.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Yep, I'm totally hidden. Totally.
Let me do. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So after the pause in the sound, you hear the howling from behind you, and a wolf, quite large, jumps out next to you, Cavell, and attempts to try and bite you.
Have fun.
Nom 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 nom. As a
That did not work at all. Where are we? There he is. Does a 17 hit?
No.
Ooh. Okay, so
Yay!
as he jumps out, he kind of like plums himself on top of the dead body, kind of sniffs it, and then sees you, and then tries to swipe. As he swipes, kind of just goes that little bit wide. His depth perception hasn't quite grasped what's going on. For
I can't actually see that, can I?
no, from behind you, Pavas, one sort of brushes like calmly from the crop from behind you, and goes to try and take a swipe at your ankle with its maw.
Would my Sacred Flame go off then once it gets tries to?
Most certainly, absolutely.
2 sacred flames going off on it. Because that would trigger mine as well, wouldn't it?
Of course, go for it.
Wait.
What's your
just
distance?
in range as well.
It would take 1 damage, but it needs to make a dex save.
That one's more like
it. But if it fails both, it takes 8 damage.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure wolves are pretty dexterous.
Dexterous should be. We would hope. Yep. So the first one it'll save against. The second one. Will also save against. So it was a 21 for the first one and a 15 for the second one. So, with both the sacred flames kind of blasting against him, kind of dodges from one side to the other, lunges forward for your leg. I'm guessing a 6 misses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 6 totally hits.
Yeah, so he kind of goes to get you, but your cloak kind of bellows out a bit and kind of just like brushes its nostrils instead. Kind of just bites at the air.
Bad wolf.
Two. Oh, where is it gone? Two more come out of the tree line by where Relon is. We will do a check for one just to see. Would have keen sense of smell, so well, he does realize where you are, and does rush out to you, Relon, and takes another bite at you.
I thought he would have went after the guy that poked the food with the stick.
You're closest.
Apparently, these are indiscriminate savage wolves, sadly.
Heaven forbid. I'm guessing a 10 misses.
Yep.
They don't
And
seem
as
to
a
have been much up.
does it end its turn there?
Yep.
As a reaction, I move 15 feet away,
Okay.
and it cannot attack me.
Okay. We
I've
come
got no
to
AC.
Zarland.
Hearing combat behind me, I will whirl around and see this wolf, and decide it's easier to get to than wading through that weed.
Mm-hmm.
I will rush up and take a swing at it.
Go for it.
Now, you know what? I don't like that as my first combat roll of this campaign. So
Well, it lives up to its name.
does a 19 hit it?
A 19 does hit.
For 14 points of slashing damage.
Oh, nice. You manage to carve almost instantly straight through its gullet, and its guts spill out. All you can hear is the release of air as it kind of gives out its last breath.
For that damage roll, I think it was worth the channel divinity. And then I have just a little bit of movement left, so I'll start moving towards the others, but that's it for me.
Okay. So Cavell.
All right. Cavell looks at Roland and he says the following as a bonus action: Chaos threatens peaceful civilization. The king draws his sword, and I give you a d6 inspiration.
Cool.
And then I strike the wolf in front of me.
A 16 hits, yeah.
For 8 slashing.
Nice, okay.
And I move to this side.
Okay. Ryan.
And once again, I fall victim to the forgetting my microphone is on mute curse. So I see two wolves coming in from the side here. I'm going to do a guiding bolt, but I'm going to spend a sorcery point to twin spell that. So I will cast a guiding bolt on this one and then this one.
Okay.
The first one being an 11. Oh,
Okay.
I assume that misses. So 21 for the second hit.
Yep.
That will be, let's see, 13 radiant damage.
Nice. Kind of just see like the bursts of light kind of engulf the area of the wolf, and as the light diminishes, all you see is like this charred remains of wolf.
Okay, wicked. And I'm just going to use my movement speed to actually it's not, move closer to my allies. There we go.
Okay.
And end my turn.
Wonderful. The same loud howl that you heard earlier, you see from the tree line that the other two appeared from. Oh, hello. What's going on there? A large figure starts to bound through the tree line. No, now I can't get the trees. Oh god, this has all gone wrong. There we go. So, this large, dark wolf bellows forward, howls again, and you see another series of wolves by his side. And he gives out like a... And his jaw is much larger, himself much larger. This is probably the culprit of the deaths, and the others are just leading form and picking off any scraps. Pavas.
Alright. Just double check the range or something. Now that the big guy's out. 1 feet, that's fine. Right. Yeah, I'm going to bonus action cast Hex on big guy.
Yep.
And then I'm going to follow up with a level 2 guiding bolt.
Okay, what's the curse?
The Hex, it's going to have disadvantage on strength.
Sweet.
Cool.
And then I want to hit with my 18 to hit.
An 18 does hit.
Cast at level 2. Plus an additional 1d6 for Hex. It's just 1d6, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
So 20 damage, plus the next attack would have advantage on it.
Okay.
And I'm going to move up here. Again, this is all coming literally from his forehead.
Sure, no worries. End of your turn.
And yep, that will end my turn.
Roland.
Move over here and shoot the big bad guy that I'll have advantage on. It's my short bow. And 18 does it. So he'll take a total of 16 damage.
Okay.
And then I'll move slightly more. And that's my turn.
Okay. The wolves. One will run forward. The other will run forward. Both of those will make bite attacks. One at Pavos, misses. The other at Orion. I'm hoping a 23 hits. For 9 piercing damage, and I need a strength saving throw, DC 11.
We're following your ass.
I think you may be muted again.
Jesse,
Yeah.
you're muted.
Sorry. I didn't hear like the last part.
So
He
two
took 9
wolves,
damage.
run close to you and Pavos,
Oh.
and one. Well, they both bite one at each of you. The one at you for an attack of 23 for 9 piercing damage, and I need a strength saving throw for a DC 11.
Okay. How much damage? Sorry.
Just 9 piercing,
Okay, and a strength saving throw.
please. Okay, you're fine.
Cool.
One of the other wolves does run towards you, Sir Cavall. Doesn't seem to be paying you attention. He kind of seems to be heading behind you, and kind of as you glance around, you see that there is another wolf, but he's far too interested in what he's already eating, and it seems to be another pile of this bait. And the one that's by you will attempt to bite you.
Oh, good luck.
For a -1. So as it goes to bite you, it kind of gets like a part of your armor, and you hear like a and like one of its like it kind of winces and goes and you kind of see blood like spilling from its mouth a little bit, and like at least like 2 or 3 of its teeth are kind of broken and cracked now.
Oh, God. How terrible.
Zartlam.
So I sent you a message on Discord.
Okay, let me have a little look.
Can I try to do that?
Sure, why not?
All right. So Zartlam will raise his head to glare at the big one, revealing the mottled green skin of his face, eyes glowing with power as he taps into the psionic heritage of the Githyanki race to enhance his body, as he will use the psionic version of jump, and he's going to leap over the corner of this wheat field and try to bring his sword down on top of this wolf as he lands.
Sure.
So none of us are normal.
That
Does an
hits,
18 hit?
of course.
And I'm going to drop a Divine Smite into this.
Ooh, lovely.
Or as I called it for this one, a Dominating Smite.
13, yeah. And then
So that's 13 slashing and 9 psychic damage.
nice.
And I can't speak for the rest of you, but no, I am definitely not normal.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm a Githyanki Conquest Paladin.
I'ma just kill this wolf. flesh.
Search of
Sorry
those,
about
just
this.
a human.
Yep. So that with it already being quite injured by this point and is now wincing at its painful teeth wreckage. Yeah, you make ease work as your blade just like pierces its neck, and as you release it, it kind of just flops to the floor.
All right, and then he runs this way. I think I get in range, but I'm not.
I would say you're probably just out of it. You'd another 5 foot, and you'd be in range.
All right, that's fine. I will throw a javelin at the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have action surge.
Okay. So javelin kind of sticks into the back of its shoulder, and it kind of like kind of tries to swipe like at it from like away. Orion.
Okay. I'm going to summon a spiritual weapon next to me to try to take care of this wolf. It is in the shape of a hammer. Not like a warhammer, just a construction hammer, a small one. And yeah, that's that. This tiny hammer getting a crit. 12 force damage onto this wolf here.
Okay. Yeah, you see like this spiritual like
Construction
just
hammer.
force comes slamming down on top of this this wolf form. It kind of just crushes under the weight as it falls limp.
And is this within 5 feet or not?
Of you?
Yes.
No. 10
No?
foot from you. Yeah, 10 foot.
Okay. Awesome. I'm gonna move back even more. Actually, I'm gonna go around, so 10 feet, and then 20 feet, and I'm gonna cast Firebolt at this wolf.
Ooh.
Try to clear the small ones. 15 to hit.
Yeah.
And that is 1 fire damage.
Okay. You see like this like matchstick size flame just kind of go and kind of
This bolt of flame doing minimal damage and then critting with a tiny hammer.
All of a sudden, the wheat fields catch on fire.
Oh shit.
So now the alpha wolf will turn facing
Gee, I
you,
wonder who has its attention.
facing facing you, Zarlem, and he barks at you.
Oh?
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Oh shit. The bark is supersonic.
And
Lucky roll there.
that was a good roll. And 4d8. Hold on.
I'm assuming if you pass, you take half damage.
Yeah, it's half damage. So
Aw.
10 points of damage.
What type of damage?
A bludgeoning.
Yeah, no. I was just seeing if my armor bag at this would trigger because he's in melee with me, but it has to be a melee attack to trigger it.
Indeed. But as
I mean, still it gives me the 10 hit points. So.
sure. as the bark occurs, you see from behind you the dog that was running towards the other and the wolf that was currently eating stop and kind of look back, and you can see the kind of second thought process go through the two wolves' minds.
Oh, I do need to make a concentration check for my
Yep.
Shield of Faith as well. Yep, still good.
Okay, badass.
Alright, I'm going to. He's literally going to lower his body, almost like take a half step back and ram forward with his horns into the wolf ahead of him.
Okay.
Or not.
No, he kind of just almost like bounds off of your horns delicately and kind of just resets himself onto the floor. He raises his back forward and just kind of growls at you.
I'm just going to snort back like that typical bull thing.
Sure. A little bit of smoke comes out of the mask.
Yeah, he's basically down on all fours now, horns at the ready.
Okay. Roland.
I'm gonna shoot the big bad boss.
The big bad boss.
Hopefully.
Okay.
I believe that hits, and because I'm an ally, 15 damage.
Nice.
Nice sneak damage.
There we go. That's my turn.
Okay. So that being said, the dog that was eating the bait starts to make his way to his master. The other that was about to join in the festivities turns round and heads back to Sir Cavall. One attacks you, Pavas, and one attacks you, Cavall. Unfortunately, you're in 5 foot of his, so the first one is fine, normal.
No, I'm not in 5 foot range.
Oh no, sorry, yeah, you're right. My apologies. One at Pavas, so does a 10 hit? I'm guessing not.
No.
These are really bad rolls.
I've got no AC, so I'm really happy.
And one at you, Cavall. 20. Does a 20 hit?
Who?
You, Cavall.
Oh, barely, yeah.
Okay. For 6 piercing damage, and I also need you to do a strength saving throw.
Strength.
Oh, you are now prone.
Ah, what a wolf.
Zartlam. Kind of currently see this wolf gnawing on Cavall's sort of shin area and kind of shaking him while he's on the ground.
Yeah, Cavall wasn't facing the wolf, so it's like he jumped on his back and pulled him down. And he's just like, oh, shit.
So it's your turn, Zartlam.
Yeah, I am going to go ahead and shift around the big boss to try and get flanking.
You wouldn't on this round unless Cavall gets 5 feet closer.
Aw.
He's literally
well.
just on that clasp.
Well, still gonna shift. And I'll just take another swing at him.
Okay. 21 hits.
Sadly, I've used all my spell slots at this point, so no Divine Smite.
Okay. Good to know.
But 13 more slashing damage.
Yep.
Me and you are just whittling away at him.
And I don't really have a bonus action, so that's
Okay.
it for me.
Okay. Circaval?
Excuse me. It's an Orange Crush belt.
9 misses. And you're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, so Cabell stumbles forward and whiffs with the sword
Mhm.
after getting up, and
Yeah. Goes wide slightly.
he uses the moment to catch his breath. 7, yeah, I'm full.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Okay.
How do you have +6 on that?
I don't know. I just put a plus a number in there.
It's plus your level of fighter.
I know. But it's 7 hit points, and I only had 6, so it's fine.
No, that's fine. It's just I'm looking at that and I'm like, wait, have I been doing that ability wrong?
No.
Wait, did I do my level wrong?
Well, if you insist, I'm happy to be level 6.
I was slightly more concerned about that, yes. I mean, if we were supposed to be level 6 and I was doing this well as a level 3, I'd say that's pretty impressive.
I was going to say.
Because I'm level 3 as well.
Kill it.
Oh, yeah.
So, Orion.
Has Wolf here taken anything other than fire damage?
The 1 point of fire damage. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna whack him with the spiritual weapon
Okay.
as my bonus action.
Whack a wolf.
Yep.
Oh, close to another crit.
Yep.
6 force damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to focus my attention to the big guy.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast a level 2 guiding bolt.
Okay. And
Shit.
miss.
Who does it hit?
Oh, that's okay. And that's my turn.
Okay.
Shall we roll a d2 to see which one of us it hits?
Yeah, let's do that.
What? What?
You still have
Critical
to roll to hit
failures?
you again. Yup.
Does critical failures kill?
Yeah.
What? Okay, I'll roll the d2. Who's 1 and who's 2?
Why are you doing this?
I'll be 1. I'll let Rickle
Okay.
be 2.
Okay.
Looks like it's hitting me.
You should still have to roll to hit your armor class.
Wait, hold up. I said level 2, didn't I?
Hell, yes. And do you want him to make another attack roll, or just say that it automatically hits me since it was a nat 1?
As it was in that one.
Automatic
okay.
hit.
Yeah.
An extra d6 damage on top. Oh wow, I did that severely wrong.
It has to be double brackets.
Yeah.
Jesus
So,
Christ. Critical failures in this game
wait,
now suddenly became very
can
bad.
I'm going to empowered spell and re-roll the high ones. So I'm going to
Clever.
re-roll the 6 and the 2 4s. So
Clever.
3d6. Okay, so it's
13
instead,
damage total.
12 damage. Oh yeah, 13 because of the +1. So 1 less. Oh no, a lot more than.
So I have to make another concentration check for my Shield of Faith.
I need to keep keep that sheet up for critical fails.
And I lost my Shield of Faith. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You get smacked in the back for 13 damage from your own ally. And now the wolf has advantage against you.
Yes, yes, it does.
Yes, it does. 2, so it doesn't get his bark back, but he does still have his bite, so he's going to carry on with you,
Now
Zartlan.
the question is its bark going to turn out to be worse than its?
I don't know. I drank Bark's root beer before the show started.
Alrighty. Well, let's see if I can survive this.
19.
Critical fails are horrible now. What the fuck?
19 hits me.
They should
Okay.
be horrible.
No, they shouldn't. They should just not type in anything.
Oh, it's so much more exciting when they're horrible, though.
Oh god, you're gonna die, man.
I'm more than
For
happy.
12 piercing
I'm-
damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw DC 14.
Oh, I would, except I'm going to use my reaction to drop my great sword, pull out the hilt of my other weapon, and full counter.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's why I didn't mind it having advantage on me.
Okay. Well, in that case, how do you want to do this?
As I stagger forward from the blast of the radiant bolt to my back, and it lunges at me with its teeth, I drop the great sword, pull out the hilt of the dagger, and just shove it up through the roof of its open.
Nice. Good. That was good, because he had 12 points exactly as well. Nice. Okay.
That was like the perfect time to use that.
That was perfect time. I'm glad to see it.
And the best part is, I had 10 hit points left. That would have put me down if I didn't have it.
Okay. Wow.
And as the wolf slumps to the ground, I'm just going to turn to glare at the sorcerer behind me as I drop 15 points of lay on hands into myself.
Okay, Pavlos has signed off and said that if anyone wants to pilot him, they're welcome to. Any volunteers?
I don't mind.
I also don't mind if he's just stunned by the fact that he blasted
his
his own
ally?
companion. That's also fine.
It takes a turn of going, what the fuck did I just do?
Well, the reason I say it additionally is because he's right next to a wolf and it's his turn.
It is my turn.
Oh, right, combat's not over, so I don't get to do the lay on hands yet.
That's Pavlos' turn.
I forgot there were still little ones left.
Alright. I'm going to bonus action put my hex on this one. And I'm going to try and pierce it with my horns again.
I know you're horny, but why do you gotta do this?
Moo. I assume 17 hits.
Yeah, 17 does hit.
Plus 1d6.
Well, it's enough to put him down. He's only got 4 points of health. So, yeah, you pierce his jugular with one of your horns, and as you kind of lift your head up, the whole body of this wolf kind of lifts off the ground a little bit, and you kind of have to shake a little bit to like flick him off your horn.
And then there's going to be a little glint of light coming from my headpiece, and as a bonus action, I'm going to heal 2d6 onto. I cannot remember his name because I'm really bad with names.
The golden one.
Get 3 back! 3 out of 12, because I'm brilliant like that.
And who was that on? Oh, me. Got it.
Most
Thank
likely you, because he's got a guiding bolt to the back. Is that your turn?
And yeah, that would be my turn.
So,
Alright. move up and I shoot the wolf by Circle. I
Okay.
won't get sneak attack because there's no ally with 5 feet. Actually, can it see me?
Oh, it can see you, yeah.
Alright, I can't hide then. I'll shoot it anyway.
You are kind of in the middle of a very open area.
Yeah. Well, you,
I
you
miss
have
it
that you
anyways.
have that little like rock there.
I put the rock on my head. Haha.
I missed it, so.
Okay. Well, in that case, it will go to the closest person it can after.
You mean the person that it knocked off on the ground before?
Yep. And will bite in a final ditch attempt to succeed against the current successors. 21 to hit.
God damn it.
7 points of damage, and I need another strength saving throw.
Yeah.
I think you had the best strength save out of most of us.
15, yep.
True.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think the only one that can
And the other will
rival you is our
come.
paladin.
I think
And
I've got
even-
success save.
there, but
Even mine's only a +4.
And mine's a +3.
Mine's a -1.
So the other wolf is just about catches up, just shy of being able to get to anyone at that stage. Zartlam, it's your turn yet again.
Going to stagger around this way and move into flanking here.
Mhm.
Not even bothering to pick the greatsword back up, just using the shattered hilt in my hand at the
Okay. Nice.
guessing a 22 hits.
Indeed.
Minimum damage.
That's fine. Okay. Kind of gives out a yelp of like what's going on kind of thing from behind him. Sir Cavell.
Oh. So
Nice.
it gives a yelp, and then suddenly its head is just like lopped off
Yep.
by the long swords.
Yeah, as it kind of barks up and yelps, it kind of alleviates the visibility of its throat as Sir Cavell just kind of takes his swords from under its throat and lops off the top of its head.
Blood spatters everywhere.
Oh yeah, like proper Japanese like B movie kind of spurts out like a singular like spout of red liquid.
Not bad for a mammal.
No.
Bad yourself. And he staggers around to the other wolf, and that's my turn.
Okay.
It's Mr. I can't believe I hit my ally's turn. His turn's over.
Orion.
Oh no.
I didn't know if you wanted to pilot.
Just Sacred Flame. And
I was going to say, just Firebolt or Sacred Flame him.
So DC 4.
Preferably Sacred Flame, because that can't critical fail.
We're going to go with Firebolt.
Jesus.
Nah, he already clicked the Sacred Flame. Minimum damage, but, you know, the closest it can come to doing that one.
Next thing you know, our next ally's got a Sacred Flame too.
No.
Yeah, one.
If I were to run into here, is that flanking, or would I have to be a bit more to the side?
Yeah, if you was next to where Cavell is, you could get away with flanking there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to dash in here, literally just in the spot behind him. And due to Minotaur, I can now Goring Rush.
Oh, wonderful.
And as a bonus action, I can literally pierce it with my horns.
Okay.
I'm assuming I would get advantage on that because of flanking.
Yep. Nice.
Okay, for 8
Nice.
piercing.
Okay, yeah. You kind of dig your horns in. You do penetrate its torso, but as you kind of lift out, it kind of almost like limps a little bit, but corrects its footing and kind of
It
just
needs
looks.
to make a strength save for me, please.
Okay.
Of 13.
Of 7.
It gets pushed or basically thrown back 10 feet as well.
Yeah, okay, I'll have that. So as it like its torso is penetrated by your horn, you kind of, as you lift your head, it kind of flips and is sent backwards.
Oh, can I do something for my turn as it's in the air?
Are you going to try and shoot it in the air?
I'm gonna firebolt it in the air.
Go ahead and roll the attack if that's what you wish to do.
Ah!
I wanted to burn it there.
Nope. Nice.
Alright.
So as you do, you kind of, the flame kind of flickers past you. It does catch the wolf, but it's kind of like it just very like singes the tops of the hair and the fur.
I'm like, grrr. I'm like, sorcerer, what are you doing? How do you miss that? No.
Okay.
I'm totally gonna hide behind this little rock.
So
As a bonus action.
the wolf's turn does run back and attempt to attack Pavas as he's just attempted to
gore him.
pierce him. Yeah. So
Is this one determined little wolf? I'm just
They
saying.
must have been driven crazy.
And again, as it does, it kind of goes to bite, but its jaw catches on a piece of Paves's boot, and as it moves forward for the bite, its jaw kind of, you hear it go, and it kind of goes, and you see this flopping jaw like flapping around as its jaw's clearly just dislocated, and it kind of now is like limping forward, and the look is now less of a determined of like I want to harm you. It's now more like,
please pity me.
Yeah, put me down or like something.
Roll animal handling to make it a pet.
Zatlam.
You know, I was actually just thinking that because I do have healing. Problem is I have a -1 on my animal handling.
If you assist me, I can do animal handling. There's a 2.
There's also the fact that
No metagaming.
you know,
You're Zapland, so he's gonna kill. You're gonna.
yeah.
Kill him.
So yeah, I'm gonna move behind it and attempt to stab it in the
Okay.
or the base of the skull, whatever's more convenient.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, just putting it out of its misery.
Okay.
I don't even think you need to roll damage at this point.
Not that, no. Yeah, you most certainly literally quick concession of a few slices, and you now have like this broken jawed, dead pile of wolf meat on the floor.
And I approach it and go, we're out of combat.
Yep.
And I go, should we skin them? I can skin them for their fur if you guys want.
I'm just gonna take my cloak off and like try and wring out some of the blood that's on it. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna roll a survival check to skin him. Does anyone want to aid me?
I don't have survival, so no. But I did give you bardic inspiration, and you never used it. So
Yeah, I'll use it now.
oh, we've got a
Zartlim's just gonna grab his greatsword, glare at the sorcerer as he walks past, and then just go sit out in the open and meditate
So
because
22 for skinning the wolves.
Yeah, the wolves aren't in the greatest condition anyway. I mean, they're a bit mangy. I mean, they're a bit sort of scaly and fur patches. But you get a good piece of skin at least. I mean, the hide of the alpha wolf you manage to kind of section out nicely, and the other smaller wolves you kind of don't really kind of get enough decent hide. They kind of either tear because they're not great quality anyway.
I'm like, hey, we can go to that hut and give him some meat for his meat pie.
There are some decent like size like flanks of this alpha wolf at least. I mean the meat's sizable. It seems to be quite tough and muscular, but it's sizable.
well, it's better than the shoes. So
I was joking. We're not going back there.
But while I'm taking off and ringing, like trying to get some of the blood from my collection, you're now seeing in full Minotaur form, in brown leather shorts, literally a basic belt and a white leather or off-white leather vest. That is it. Otherwise, it's full-blown Minotaur with a gold circlet around his head, which links around his horns. It can't be taken on and off. It's literally being put there as a blessing, and you see him really simply just trying to rub the blood out.
Okay. Give me one sec, guys. Just got to take a call.
I'm like, well, we got some alpha wolf hide that we can sell later. The other stuff isn't really worth it.
I will point out, as far as my character goes, you guys did see my character, while wearing full chainmail, leap 60 feet across the battlefield to engage that.
Yeah, I noticed it. It's just best not to bring it up when you're mad at the sorcerer for hitting you in the back. I'm giving you a wide berth at the moment.
be sure to keep a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7.
7 wolves?
Yep. There's one over here too.
Oh yes, that's true. And an alpha.
One alpha.
I'm just patting the sorcerer on his head, really, probably a bit harder than I should, but as gently as you can be. It's okay. We all do bad things.
We know where their farms are, so we can report to the wives at the very least that the problem's been taken care of. But they might need new helpers.
Fishing rods.
As in, they're dead.
Flipping at Snuggles. And then she was like acting a bit like.
I'm not sure that's the wisest course of action. We haven't really solved the problem of the river yet.
They didn't care about the river, they cared about the wolves.
Sure, but the river is the cause of the wolves.
What river problem?
The river dried up. So assume someone has diverted the river some higher stream.
Oh.
And
They wanted, in other words, they wanted us to solve the damn problem for.
And someone's been putting up baits for these wolves to come down here. Clearly, we're not just dealing with savage wolves, we're dealing with someone who's using savage wolves to do whatever they need doing.
Yeah, let's get rid of this bait.
I have to step away for a moment. Malchaz will just be recovering after that fight and following you guys if you leave before I get.
Yeah, we'll take a short rest.
Short rest.
Yeah, I mean, you're skinning like the alpha wolf, and I think a short rest is fine.
Sweet. Get my spells back.
Well, I mean, we'll tell Nick that we're taking one, and then we'll see.
Don't forget, Daddy, there's blueberries in the fridge.
Yeah, I'm just
Remember,
writing what the plan
We
is.
don't know if the GM will interrupt our short rest or if it's.
Therefore, shock them up.
I must say, I'm quite upset none of you reacted to the fact that I'm a Minotaur.
I mean, that's probably the surprise, right? It's that you reveal you're a Minotaur and no one in the group cares, apparently.
Like, in the back of his head,
There's a gift Yankee in the group.
like, he's currently in the back of his head. He's currently being told off by Titan, taking.
Okay.
There's literally a gift Yankee in the group. Pretty sure we're more shocked about that than the Minotaur.
Right. So you said you managed to get the
I only
mangy,
keep alpha wolf hide.
just
rest
the
I
mangy wolf
don't
hide,
care.
yeah.
I don't care about that. I only care about the alpha.
Yeah.
I
Any
look
other
at the
meat?
rest and go, it's not worth it. We burn the bait in the wolves' bodies after.
Good to know. Good to know.
And we'll take a short rest.
Yeah.
So,
Wonderful.
Well, that's what the skinning is part of. I'm assuming that takes a short rest to do.
Yeah. I mean, as you came into this farmland, you noticed that it was almost like a crossroads. The road ahead goes into the farmland, and then the road either side is like the road through the outside of Kayan's village to where the road would take you to Bavel.
Well, we're heading to the river. The river should have been. We got
So,
to fix that problem still.
yeah, I mean, the river kind of slips alongside here, so off to like the right hand side of this farm, you see like a dipped kind of area that is like muddy, but like dried mud, and you can see that it was clearly a streamed kind of small river that kind of passes through this area. And if you,
We're gonna try and figure what's blocking it.
yeah, absolutely, you can most certainly try. If you go ahead and roll a investigation for me.
Yeah, I got that. Does anyone want to aid me in that, or no?
I'm not smart enough to.
sadly, none of us have investigation tagged.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
great! I rolled a 2.
I'm assuming if we just follow the river, we'll find where it ends.
I mean, knowing surrounding areas, and this river could go on for miles and miles. And you, from your perspective, you can see quite far. And you can't see any evidence of what or why it may be dried out. Usually, go ahead and roll me a nature check, one of you.
Alright, I can do that.
Sure.
Nat 20.
That was good.
26.
So you know, Roland, that usually in this part of the country, there is a particular breed of bird that likes to make its habitat nearby running water, like rivers or lakes and such. And you don't see any evidence of this particular bird in the area. So you would think that it would take you quite a long period of time to work out where this river may lead to.
What does that mean?
Well,
It's gonna take time.
yeah, I mean, it could be days away in terms of working out where it is, or it may just be
Hey,
that
what
there
would
is
be
no
funny
source
is
of
that
water.
the bandits and these wolves are connected. It's just my way of saying, maybe if we take care of the bandits first, we might find out what the problem is. Instead of just looking for it.
Well, someone put out bait for these wolves to come here. We
That
might
seems like
ask
a bandity issue.
we might ask the wives if they have any enemies.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
And let them know that the wolves are dead.
Yes, yes. Let's head to the nearest farm and ask.
Pull my hood back up and hide my face again.
So I'm guessing you're heading through Cayenne's village,
Yeah,
correct?
just to
Yeah.
one of the two farms.
No worries.
And following the wives, or wife. One has a wife.
Sure,
that the
sure.
wolves are dealt with.
So after taking a walk, you can see, even though this is home to Cayenne's village, the actual surrounding areas that that would be owned by this particular village is quite vast. It's not just a tiny village, although everyone does live in a small area and is closely like in proximity of each other. The actual land around is quite vast, and they actually own quite a big farm area. So canes, as you know, is used as a backup crop and livestock point for the kingdoms. It helps feed the surrounding villages and the fort of Solgals. The small farming village has a very small port. This village is home to few. The road is mainly worn and is like worn dirt. The outskirts are homes, and a fair-sized warehouse is used to distribute goods delivered at the docks and distributed out to other villages and towns. Basic trades are available here that aid the village.
I would have gathered two of my 4 arrows I fired.
The clay and wooden hutch-like homes surround the area, and a sweet smell of crop burns in the air. Occasionally you smell a sweet sea breeze that kind of sweeps by, like the salty air.
And we knock on one of the 2 first farms.
First of all, hold on.
Did we bring the wolf's head? Or...
We brought the hide.
Yeah, the hide should be enough, but I mean,
sure.
It's a giant wolf.
Did anyone mention that they picked it up?
I took it as I cut its hide.
Okay.
I mentioned I took the hide.
We'll say for now you've got the hide and head, but in future you need to make a predominant remark that's been done. But as you approach the village, the first kind of building, apart from the outside sort of warehouse distribution area, you kind of come into the village and you see first of all a shop with a display of hanging meats that greets newcomers. This appears to be some sort of butcher, and you see a sign that's outside that says meet and greet. Then as you follow the path, and adjacent to this shop is another shop with baskets of vegetables and other types of grocery items. And you can see that there are baskets and barrels of these vegetables, and barrels you can see has mixed types of vegetables. It says vegetables from 5 copper. The pathway then starts to open up and spreading through the village. You see a barn-like building with a painted horse's head on, and it says It says Jack Steed on the sign. This seems to be some sort of farrier's building, and it says horseshoes and help injured animals from 15 silver. The sound of a small metallic tapping from a blacksmith nearby. You can hear. The sign you see says Haltech Littlehammer, and you can see that there's an anvil outside and a billowing forge, bricked up forge area just outside this building. And it just says basic materials sold within. You do come to several sort of home-looking buildings. Several of them do kind of look to be able to be suitable farm houses, and you can see that kind of from the back end of them, they kind of spill out into the farmland areas. So you would assume that one of these homes is likely to be Jack's or Jeff's.
Yeah, the first two that are adjacent to each other.
All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Jack or Jeff, here we go. We go to the left. One to the left.
Sure.
And knock on the door.
You knock on the door. The first one, don't kind of get any answer from.
Hello? Hello? No?
Nope.
Let's check the other one then.
I knocked 3 times.
I think I walk to the center of between these two buildings.
Yep.
And I start saying, "Hear ye, hear ye! Mighty wolves defeated by epic band of adventurers. The seekers are victorious once more."
And some of the buildings that you've already passed, you can kind of see like individual shopkeepers kind of peer out the door as if to like just sort of seeing what all the commotion is about. Actually, one female does come from around the back of the house that you knocked on, wearing kind of like a maiden kind of like apron. Clearly was either making milk or anything. Was clearly working at the back of the house, and she kind of says, "Can I help you?"
Are you Jack or Jeff's wife?
I'm Jack's wife. What's happened?
We took care of your wolf problem.
You have?
As I pull out the hide and the head of the Opa.
Well, someone had to step up. Is he with you?
Is who with me?
Jack, of course.
Who's Jack?
Her husband.
He asked us to take care of the problem before he made it back. So our timely arrival should come before his own.
Well, if you see him before I do, you can tell him he's in great trouble.
He seemed to have implied as much when we last spoke.
So the wolves are gone?
Yes, the alpha and the 7 wolves with it.
I just don't understand why wolves would all of a sudden just...
Oh, they were baited there.
Baited? Who would do such a thing?
Bad people.
I'm assuming
If
they're
I-
bandits.
Yes, man, the world's dangerous enemies.
Were they using just what? How were they baiting them?
I described how I saw it.
And
It
you
was
kind of see like the confused come to like almost like a realization and say, "Fish,
yes,
clams."
yes.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
No.
If it's anything
but
to
it was
do with
true.
him, he'll need more than a boat to get away. And she kind of storms back and says, and like goes to like the back of the house again. And she comes back and she's holding like a really mediocre kind of shovel. And she does not look best pleased.
Oh, I say we burned the bodies in the bay.
Yes, well, once I'm done, this body will need burning too.
I'm like,
Pardon me, miss, but are you sure you should be the one with the shovel? I'm fairly certain we could take care of any problems you have.
Perhaps you're right. It's not a job for a normal woman that's not married to the man to deal with.
We wouldn't want you to get in trouble, of course, of course.
I have a feeling I know who's behind the baiting.
is it your
Why don't you
neighbor?
tell us the circumstantial evidence that points to the circumstantial man?
And she points out, and you can see from your perspective like a cliff sort of end that you can now see the vast ocean that's off to the side that's bringing in that salty air. And she says, "The portmaster, John Dory. He owns a skittery franchise called the Red Lobster. He's not been in the best of times. I wouldn't put it past him to try and sabotage the rest of us."
That sounds awfully cruel for a man down on his luck.
Well, he's put us out of pocket. At least 300 gold. We, of course, can't cut our crop, and we've lost workers. So, if it's
As
him,
tragic as
he will
I'm
pay.
sure this whole story is, I don't see why we should get involved any further. We've done our job. If they have a dispute with their neighbors, let them settle it themselves.
Do you think
The
this
last
guy
one
also owns
standing is
jail
obviously in
for
the right.
murder?
We should talk to this harbor master and see if he's connected to these bandits.
He might have blocked the river.
If we must. If you're also keen on getting involved in fixing every little person's problem, then be my guest. I'm going to be stopping by the blacksmith, and if they don't have what I'm looking for, then perhaps I'll find you at the docks before you leave.
I'm also going to the blacksmith. I gotta get some things quickly.
Okay,
Good.
so
I shall spread our tale for these people to admire. Yes. So I will take your pelt, thank you. Or maybe just a wolf head.
I got the pelt. I'm gonna take it to the
Yes.
blacksmith and maybe we can sell it.
Yeah. Give me the wolf's head at least, so I can.
It's right there on the ground.
Yep. Thank you. It looks disgusting.
So do you, my friend. So do you.
I'll see you when you're headed for the docks. Hear ye, epic band of adventurers, destroy Wolfpack.
I go to the blacksmith.
So as you approach the blacksmith, you see within the innards of this shop a small dwarven male. And as you push the door, the bell rings. The tapping stops, and he kind of looks up. It's like, yes.
Hello.
Hello. We came to hopefully purchase some things.
I would hope so. What do you
I
need?
look at I need short bow arrows.
So the items available in here are the very basic materials that you would find in the player's handbook. There are no superior looking items here. Most of what you can see on the walls and in like the crates are very either basic steel kind of looking swords. You see like a few forks and
The
like
key
farmers'
point
forks
is
and
there's
stuff.
arrows.
Yeah, you do see that there are some arrows there.
I do pull out the Alpha Wolf hide and see if he's interested in buying it too.
Kind of just the smell kind of pushes his back, and he's like, "Just get out of the way. I don't need hides. I need steel."
I put it away. I buy 40 arrows if it's base price.
Yeah, it's regular base price here.
Speaking of needing materials, I don't suppose anyone's sold you any scrap of an unusual material. Looks like it may have once been part of a sword.
Unusual material. And you kind of his appearance doesn't even look like he's trying to remember like seeing anything of sorts. He's like, no.
When it's obvious that he's not even trying to remember, I pull the broken hilt out of its sheath and jam it down into the counter and say, "It looked like this. Jog any memories?" And just kind of try to stare him down for my full height.
I was gonna walk up behind, like, you're not a nice.
I
And you can kind of see that everything you're asking is like too much effort for him. He's like really can't be bothered. Extremely lazy appearance, and he's like, ugh.
In that case, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to activate my conquering presence, and he needs to make me a wisdom save or be frightened.
Meanwhile, I start looking for a.
Give me a sec.
Yes, I'm using a channel divinity on a shopkeeper. Zarlam does not like being disrespected by mammals.
What is it? Wisdom check, we say.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
What's the DC?
Only a DC 12. Unfortunately, my charisma is not very high.
They're not very smart here. 6.
Yeah, no, he is straight up frightened.
Yeah, and it shows. He kind of like he's like his head sort of burrows into his shoulders, and he's kind of like wincing away, and like one eye's like squinted, and the other's like looking at you.
I'll ask one more time. Have you or have you not been sold any material that looked like this? And I'll show him the broken blade.
You see him like shake his head really nervously, and go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Should it be insight?
No, this particular reason would be well, you can do an insight if you want to see if he's telling the truth, but I'd also want you to do an additional perception.
All right, I'll
check
do
as well.
both.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can tell he's definitely scared. He has absolutely no reason at this stage to lie to you because he's petrified. But you do hear like the trickling of like water or the sound of something like water.
In that case, I'll just resheath the hilt, turn on my heel, and march out the.
Okay.
Do I find a leather worker in this? village?
There doesn't seem to be a leather worker here. The shops, as I say, as you made through, you saw that there is a butcher's, a grocer's, a farrier's, a blacksmith, and further down into the village there's
Would a further like hide?
a farrier. Probably not.
Oh no, that's an arrow person.
The butcher might have resource for it, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, I'll just wait till we go to a place that I can get rid of it. For now, yeah, just go to the dock.
Bye, scare man, and walk out.
And I'm gonna BRB in real life. Use the washroom, but I'll be right back.
I will head down to the dock myself once I'm done there.
I'm just following.
Yeah. As you approach the docks, you just hear like, Harbor Master suspected of vile criminal act, conspiring with criminals.
As you-
What are you laughing at, Daddy?
According to anonymous sources, bait was found near farmstead with clams and fish.
What are you laughing at, Daddy?
silly.
Aww.
Sorry, that's the only burden about playing my games.
It's fine, it's cute.
So as you walk further into this village and you come to like it's almost like a really simple design cascading like stairs, but it's clearly made out of like dirt and like wooden ends to kind of make the steps down to this sort of port harbor like area, but it's extremely small. The port is about the size of like a big like dinghy. It's no bigger than that, and it's literally just a piece of like wooded dock, and then off to the side there's like this hut, and you see an individual inside this hut, and there's a sign as you approach, and it's a painted red like lobster looking shape, and underneath it does say the Red Lobster.
Oh man. Yeah, you just see Sarah Cavell outside. He's got the wolf's head and yelling about the treasonous acts of the harbor master and the lives on his conscience, perhaps. Alleged crimes, I suppose they are. And yeah, hopefully the town has taken notice. So I will wait for everyone to approach, and then we shall confront the vile criminal.
I'm probably just gonna go find some wall to lean against near the tavern and just watch this all play. Because Zartlem really doesn't care about these peasants.
So are you approaching the Red Lobster
Yep.
hut? Yeah.
Yep. I'm approaching the hut with the wolf's head and yelling at the top of my lungs like any good squire. And then when I stop next to the door,
I mean, it's almost like an outhouse, like toilet looking hut. It's very, very small. It literally can sit one person inside, and it's got like a front shelf, like a check-in shelf kind of thing. And you see this human male, quite kind of sea-weary looking, your typical kind of sailor looking attire, and kind of like would you care for some for some clam meals? I have wonderful clams. It's only 45 copper, only 45. Please try some clams.
Good sir, are you the harbour master?
Yes, it's. No one's interested in the clams. And he kind of like digs out this book and's like,
Would you care to state your name?
I'm the portmaster, John Dory.
Portmaster John Dory.
And you are?
A brave adventurer who slayed the evil wolf. I expensive scrubbing.
Hello?
Hi.
You're muted there. Matt.
Ah, damn it. Ah, damn it. My name, Sir Cavell, and I take a flourishing bow and present him the wolf's head, and I say, and you are the portmaster, John Dory.
Yes. Are you looking for a booking or are you just here wasting time?
What do you have to say to the people of this town and these serious allegations of anonymous sources that conflate you with conspiring with criminals and putting out bait for wolves?
Go ahead and roll a intimidation. Yes.
I thought it was a performance check.
Oh.
That's fine.
I think it comes across more intimidating at this stage for him.
14.
Okay. Let's see.
Unless he rolls a nat 1 wisdom save.
Open. And he kind of like he scrambles within this hut, and it kind of the hut rocks from side to side. It almost looks like it's about to tip over, and he kind of bursts through this door at the back, and he comes rushing around to the front. He grabs you by like your forearm, and it's like, please, no. Please don't. Keep your voices down.
What about the wolves?
Or the bandits?
Well, I don't know anything about bandits. Please, just understand. It's not easy running this as a side business as well as trying to maintain the port. I had to do something, otherwise it would have been my head.
You're not a very nice man.
There aren't very nice men about nowadays.
My good sir, would you perhaps aid us in the investigation of finding criminals and these people who have diverted the river?
What are you talking about?
Doing the town a community service and proving your good name and proving these slanderous accusations wrong and aiding everyone in the city, well, town, peasant village.
Look, all I know is that I have to pay a regular rate for this franchise. The people that own the franchise, the company, the Red Crab, they push sales targets that are ridiculous to meet. And there are consequences for not meeting those targets. And the farms, they're always doing so well. And, well, I thought that perhaps if they had a little landslide, then it would increase my business.
You thought to spread your ill fortune upon the citizens of this fine village?
What's going to happen quickly is he's going to feel a little, almost like a flick, really gentle, almost like a fly buzzed and land on his ear. And Titan is going to use Heart Sight, and it needs to do a charisma saving throw as well. But also then, Titan would then reveal to me its emotional state and also if it fails the saving throw, I'd get to know the creature's alignment and stuff like that.
Okay. So one moment.
Oh god, I love having this little bit.
What is it? A
It's a DC 10 charisma save.
charisma. Uh, 14.
But okay, I'd still know its current emotional state.
I mean, he's panicking. He's clearly panicking that someone's kind of put the pieces together. In terms of that he's responsible for the bait and the wolves coming to the farmlands.
How did he act when we accused him of? How about when with the accusation of
Bandits?
Yeah, I mean, he voiced already that he didn't quite understand what anyone was talking about regarding bandits.
Right.
Look, as I said, I have a harsh target to hit, and I didn't mean for anyone to get harmed. And if you're saying that there are people that have...
There is blood on your hands, good sir. Several people have been injured, and several more have been killed.
So
You must turn over your employers, and we shall ruthlessly prosecute them to the full extent of the law for these crimes. Provided you are willing to testify that they are the culprits, of course.
I was responsible. They were only responsible for setting ridiculous targets.
So you're saying that you did this on your own initiative?
To save my own neck, yes. I can't...
My good sir.
You have no idea what these people are capable of.
I do not need to have any idea of what these people are. You voluntarily business relationship with unscrupulous people, and once you found out of their unscrupulousness, you did not seek to divert yourself. Instead, you sought to save your own neck.
Bad man.
You have voluntarily spread misery to the rest of this town via your cowardice and your lack of character.
Perhaps we can come to some sort of arrangement and just keep it between you and
Now
I.
he's trying to bribe you.
And now you are trying to bribe me. My good sir, there is only one way this is going to end. You are going to have to turn yourself in.
Yes, you're right. Yes,
And this is
you're
when
right.
I come out.
And perhaps you
and
can even escort...
fix the river.
You can even escort me... Fix the river?
Yeah, that you blocked.
No, he doesn't have any clue about that. He's just an opportunist. Please, my good sir, come here to the town square and reveal to the citizen your crimes.
Yes.
The only way the wolves could have got to the farm is if he did divert the river.
Just one moment. I really need to get something from my
now,
boat.
And I slap him on the back and tighten my grip and pull him towards the town square.
It's like, but there's something in my boat. I really, honestly.
Yes. I'm sure something in your boat can be of use to the people who come to pick up the work you're doing after you have confessed.
Also, how did he block the river?
We don't know. I don't think
he obviously did it. How else would the wolves?
Didn't you say about the landslide?
Well, you see, sometimes things happen, and other people take an opportunity to do more things.
But yes, I mean the river's been cut off for days, and I've only been placing.
Exactly. Come now. Hear ye, Harbour Master John Dory of the Red Lobster Financing Company has voluntarily subjected himself to the full extent of the law. His crimes are the following. putting up baits to the wolves and thereby indirectly causing the murder of several farmhands.
You see, like, there are 3 of the shops that are kind of peering out, and they're kind of like looking at you as if to say, well, I don't know what you want us to do, kind of thing.
And I jackboot him in the knee. I make him fall to prone. I pull out my longsword and I say, in the name of the king, I hereby pronounce you, to the full extent of the law, guilty. And I chop his head off.
In front of everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
I back away at this.
So do I.
I applaud.
Okay.
Can I go back and loot his shop?
I mean, you could certainly go back and have a look.
Yeah, I mean, loot his boat, you mean, and have a look.
I'm gonna go to that food place at the entrance.
I mean, as you cut off the head, I mean, no one knows who you are. You haven't established any kind of like point or anything really within, other than walking around this village and no one knows you, and it is announcing these things. You hear a female shriek and someone running away.
You said, in the name of the king.
You see another like a young boy running up away from the village, as if to sort of head towards the distribution center. Yeah, you're most welcome to look around his shack if you want to return to there.
I've got 18.
Yeah, so his shack, you see that there is like a ledger, like a small booklet that is, the handwriting's almost illegible. You can't really read it too well. In terms of like how it's written, it's quite messy. But you can kind of see like boat names, or what you would consider as boat names, and then like times that they book in, and then like a price that they paid. There's a very small like sack, and as you lift it, it feels really heavy. But when you look inside it, most of it's like pebbles and stones, and there's like 2 copper pieces in there, and you would assume that he may have done banking recently, and there's not much that's passed through this village the last few days. But there was two copper and a handful of stones and pebbles if you wanted those.
I'll take the copper and I'll just drop the bag on the.
There is also 2 large buckets of very smelly like clam meat, and yeah, so you can take the clam meat if you like. It's very, very, very stinky.
No, vegetarians walking out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the boat that's interesting to you, I think.
I am interested in the boat because I am a bit of a sailor.
Okay.
Yay, background.
But yeah, I put the wolf's head on him and I leave him in the town square, and I wash my hands of this.
Okay.
And I head to the eatery and get a meal.
Aren't we the good guys?
I don't know about that guy that has beheaded a guy in the name of the king, dead for 12 years. But you know.
I'm gonna catch a nap where I'm leaning against a building, and then go find the others afterward.
Sure. Did someone say that they were searching the boat?
Yep.
Yeah, another investigation for that, please.
Due to my background and knowledge of the boats, might I get advantage?
Yeah, go ahead. Go on. I'll allow it.
I don't know much, but I know how to use a boat.
Okay. Searching through, you kind of look in places that you know, in terms of similar designs of boats, that there are like particular hiding places or places that would be used for storing things, and you go through those. You find a fishing rod. It's not particularly the greatest of quality, but it's a fishing rod nonetheless. But on the bottom of the rod itself, it does say ownership of by the Red Lobster Corp. And then it's like at the bottom on like the hilt of the rod's arm. There's like a almost like a copper plaque on the bottom, and it says 003 on it. It's like some sort of serial number or something like that.
Yeah.
You also see that on the boat there are two sea traps that are made out of like rope and a wire and stuff that would be used to try and catch clams or entice them into a trap. Other than that, there's not really a lot on the boat at all in terms of usable equipment.
Okay.
You possibly at this point think that he may have been trying to get on the boat to flee.
What? Sorry, you broke up again.
You think by this point he may have been trying to get back onto the boat in order to like a last dip attempt to flee.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. I'm so used to playing smart characters. It's really hard to do the. Well, I know what I'm going to. No. I'm just going to wander back to the group then.
Okay. As you are sort of like finish up doing what most of you are doing around, and you wait for your current comrades to kind of regroup.
How much does it cost for a meal at the meet and greet?
You want the meet and greet? Well, the meet and greet, he's literally just raw meat. So you can buy, or well, I say raw meat. There's a lot of dried meat there as well, so you can buy some like there like dried ham or anything like that. Yeah, there's that sort of thing there as well.
All right, I'll buy about a pound of it.
A pound will set you back 3 silver.
I hand him a gold and say keep the change.
He kind of nods at you. Like, thanks. Kind of grunts, and you at this point you can kind of tell that he has like an offish green tone to his skin. Clearly half orc.
Cool.
Right, let's go find some bandits, I suppose.
Sure. As you kind of go to leave the area, you can see in the far distance, and you would
I'm not being anywhere within 50 feet of the human that executed the guy.
Well, that being said, you see in the distance, like a very, very small figure in the distance, and you can see either side of him there are like these taller figures, and you can just kind of make out the colouring, and they're most certainly wearing like guards' colours, and they seem to be approaching the village.
Alright, I'm gonna stealth out the back way.
I can't, I'm too dim.
I don't know.
I'm 50 feet behind him, so yeah.
May I remind you, you are still on the run.
Well, it's one guy can stealth. I cannot. But
I mean, they're quite far ahead, so
they're quite far ahead.
Yeah.
So.
I would say if you're going to stealth at this stage, you'd probably get advantage at this stage because they're so far ahead, and you've just made them out.
I'm gonna try and hide.
Do I even need advantage? I can only do one better.
See, I wasn't directly involved in the execution, so I'm not bothering with it.
Neither was I, but I went and investigated the boat.
I wasn't involved with that, so I'm not bothering with stuff.
Well, I mean, they'll check with every stranger, but probably you're safe. Probably. I'm head out the back way without finding any. I'll just wait for the rest of. Yeah, I'll find some way to meet up with them later.
So those in chainmail can make it stealth.
I'm not very stealthy.
And neither was the sorcerer. He wasn't involved.
So Roland kind of just like disappears into the outskirts of the field, and you can kind of you see to begin with, you see the crop kind of weaving where he's like working his way through, and then it kind of stops, and you just don't see where he is. You see what direction he led off to, but you don't see him. Circaval, same sort of principle, but you're a little less delicate with it, so you kind of maneuver through a little bit of the outline, and you kind of make in, but you can kind of still see like the crop moving as he disappears in. Pavas, you have a little bit more trouble hiding. You feel like you are well hidden, but you're kind of just almost like sidestepping, like on like the outline of where the crop begins.
He's moo crow.
And yeah,
Please pretend I'm a scarecrow.
Zartlam, I'm guessing, is still just comfortably leaning up against the building, taking a light snooze.
Yeah, but basically just taking a short rest, and then I'll leave town normally, walking down the road.
Sure. A few moments pass, and the guards do pass you. They don't quite pay too much attention to you, and the boy's kind of pointing, and he's like, "This way! They were this way! They just outrightly murdered the portmaster. No one knows who they are, but one was wearing orange. That's for sure."
Very subtle colours.
One was wearing orange.
I wasn't even part of 90% of what they did, but I'm still hiding anyway. Because I'm a stranger.
And as they kind of move away a little bit further, Zartlam, you kind of hear them, the boy additionally say, "There was others with them, but I don't know where they've gone." And one of the guards say, "Did the one wearing orange look like this?" And you kind of you hear like the paper unfurling, but you don't see what he shows the boy, and you don't hear the boy's reaction.
Damn it, the guy with the high stealth roll doesn't decide to pay
Are
attention to these things.
Are they at least being loud enough to draw my attention?
I mean, you heard exactly what they said, without a doubt.
Titan be able to go and because Titan's able to be invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I love that ability. Able to fly over and see the scroll.
You could certainly try, but I don't know necessarily you'd know that this was going on, but you could definitely try and perceive the area around while you're trying to make your escape.
Yeah, it would be Titan, the invisible fairy that just like flies off.
Sure. And you in terms of what he would probably perceive is that the guard unfolds like a parchment, and you can see on it is like a detailed image, but from Titan's perspective, you can't quite make out who the image is of.
It's like 12 years old.
Okay.
I'm actually going to call out to the guards. You're looking for the loud one in orange, right?
What do you know of him?
Passing through on a way to take care of some bandits up north. Heard him as I was coming through town. Saw him talking to some of the farming folk up near the entrance on my way down. They might be able to tell you what all the ruckus was about better than I could.
Where was this?
On the way into town, I wasn't paying that much attention then. That was before the whole, execution.
Why did he execute him?
Something about crimes and
In the name of the king.
saying that the guy was guilty of crimes or something. Like I said, they'd probably be able to tell you more since they were talking to those folks before the whole incident went.
Crimes. And the one guard looks to the other and is like, they haven't sent anyone else down, have they? And the other's like, I don't think so. Do you think they're after our job? And the other one's like, I'm telling you, man, if they send someone to take over, I don't know what I'm going to tell the wife. It's like, the other's like, nah, there's got to be some sort of rebel. It's like, and they kind of say, well, thanks, what was your name?
Zark.
Strange name.
Yeah, traveling mercenary. As I mentioned, there's some bandit issues up north that I'm heading to deal with.
Wow.
Just kind of jab a thumb at the hilt over my shoulder as I mentioned being a mercenary.
Which hilt?
Oh, when they're both sheathed, they line up, so it's hard to tell that there's more than one.
Okay. Well, don't go too far. We may have some questions.
If I see you folks again, I'll stop and check in if you need any more answers.
God damn, they better not have sent someone to take over. And he kind of plods along and carries on.
Once they're out of sight, I'm then going to go ahead and give a stretch and just casually walk out of town.
Okay. The rest of you have a bit of time to get out of town, and you kind of make your way around, weaving through the crop. You manage to get to the back end of where the distribution center is, and make your way back up onto the road to the destination that you were heading.
All right. A good deed. That's a good deed.
As you start on the road, it has turned relatively dark now. The sun set quite quickly. It's starting. You can see the purple haze in the sky that now is beginning to reflect off of some of the golden crop land, and you kind of see a few openings that might make good camp areas if that's what you're looking for. But it's up to you what you want to do before we close off the session.
I mean, that seems fair enough. There's a camping area of towards where we headed, and we'll eventually all of us will be there.
Okay. Right. Well,